Here are the recommended tools you will need to wrap a drum shell with Drum Foundry PSA. You're going to need a whisk broom, some sort of Swiffer broom to knock off all the dust off the shell before you wrap. Here's Drum Foundry wrap trimmer. A pair of scissors just in case you end up a little crooked on the wrap and you need to trim it away from the bearing edge, so you're dealing with a flat surface once you trim the wrap down from the bearing edge. J roller, these come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. 2 sets of spring clamps. This is probably the biggest you're going to want to use. This is a good size. Some sort of utility knife to score the liner of the PSA. A set of tweezers, not necessary, but it is helpful. A pencil and a Drum Foundry T-jig. This tutorial is to show you how to use Drum Foundry's new PSA by the roll. We're going to sell it in 3-inch rolls, so you can do a larger area. And our new seam tape will be sold in 9-foot rolls, 9 foot long and 1 inch wide. These will be approximately 3 inches wide by 36 yards. So you'll be able to do a couple kits with these. This is permanent. It is not temporary. So the first thing you want to do is make sure your wrap, you can buy pre-cut wrap from Drum Foundry. Just make sure all the dust and everything is off the wrap. And I like to place the wrap long ways like this in front of me. You want to start with this seam tape. I like to start with a little bit of overlap on one side and line up the edge of the seam tape with the edge of the wrap. And because it's only 1 inch wide, you can kind of guide it or steer it as you go along the edge. A pair of scissors, cut it off a little bit longer. I like to take my thumb, kind of work it in first, and flip it over and cut it flush. And then you're going to want to take your J roller and put some pressure on it. Flip it back to horizontal in front of you. Again, I like to make sure that the wrap is clear of any dust. We're going to do the PSA now. And the nice thing about ordering a roll of PSA is you can control how much you put on. It's a little bit more work, but you do have a little more control. And this is a 6.5 inch drum that we're working with, so 6.5 inch deep piece of wrap. And this is 3 inches wide, like I said before. So I usually take out about a foot, foot and a half. I don't butt it up exactly against the seam tape, but I am going to recess it down about 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch from the edge. And I'll explain why I do that later. And use that edge of the wrap. If it's from Drum Foundry, this edge will be straight, so you can use that as your straight. And run it all the way to the end. Oops. Take your utility knife. Cut it off. Then take your J roller and do a light pass to get out any air bubbles, and then you can kind of do a stronger pass to work out any wrinkles or air bubbles. Alright, now we're going to lay down our second piece. Now obviously different depths of wrap and shells There's a lot of different configurations you can do with this tape. Again, we're going to try to leave about 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch from the edge. So I'm going to overlap this tape on what I just laid down. And lay down the next section here all the way to the end. Grab your knife, cut it off flush. Again, take your J-roller, do one light pass, and then one stronger pass. Because we overlapped here to leave our 1/4 inch space on the edges, we have to cut this small piece of tape off, so when we peel it back, everything will come up properly. Again, just take your utility knife, and it's just a score. You can use a straight edge or freehand it like I'm doing. It does not have to be perfect, but you do want to make sure that you're getting all that overlap tape off and not cutting into the wrap. So usually I do 2 light scores. Steady. And if all worked out well, voila!